it's Cher from Cher Made Crochet, back for another video. I have been gone for far too long, so I hope you can bear with me. I'm very out of practice with the camera. But I am hoping that this video finds you in good health and in good spirits. And yeah, last month was an odd month. I spent the first 2 weeks hardly doing any crocheting because my husband, as an early birthday present, he bought a game for me that I had been eyeing since its production announcement years ago. I don't even remember how long ago it was, but I want to say at least 2 to 3 years, so it's been a while. So I spent the first week playing that game, and then the second week trying to find my Crojo. Excuse me. And like in between, I was doing a little bit of crocheting, but I thought I'd figure I'd go small because I wanted to feel at least a little bit accomplished. So what I did was I made hats, like 2 hats, and some blocks for an organization called Warm Up America, which is a charity that reaches out to other charities and also like nursing homes and low-income facilities, and sees what they need. For like crochet and knitted goods, and then they also accept all year long the stereotypical hats and scarves and mittens and stuff like that. But in particular, they also accept 7 by 9 inch blocks. So I was crocheting or attempting to crochet 7 by 9 inch blocks. So let me go ahead and show you the blocks at the very least. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see these, but I believe the blocks are done in Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn, but I don't know what colorways they are. They were just single skein yarns that I had that I didn't necessarily know what to do with. So I think I used a 6mm crochet hook for this. The stitch pattern for this is in multiples of 2. And what I would do is I would do 2 half double crochets in 1 stitch, skip a stitch, 2 half double crochets in 1 stitch, and so on and so forth. And then the following row, and from here on, so from row 2 on, I would work between the 2 post stitches of the half double crochet, and I would insert 2 half double crochet stitches. But yeah, so there's one. I was just basically practicing different stitches. I think this one is just a single crochet, double crochet, skip a stitch, single crochet, double crochet in the same stitch. This is, I don't even know what color, but it's a really pretty gradient. I think this is the right side, or up, the right side up. And I think I used a 5mm crochet hook for this because this is a much thinner yarn. And this one was with the half double crochet stitches between the posts of the stitches below. This one is extended single crochet stitches in a mesh, not a mesh, in a linen stitch style. So it would be extended single crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, extended single crochet, and so on and so forth. This appears to be another extended single crochet linen stitch style block. And then this is a 6 by 6 inch square, which I will not be able to put into the Warm Up America box, but I'm sure I could find something to use it for, I guess. I can use it as a coaster, or I could possibly make more of these and send to Rose from Rose Likes Crochet, since she is offering to do sew the blocks together for her organization that she, like, charity organization that she's donating to this year, called Wings. So yeah, those are my blocks. Then for the hats, I believed I used a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook for both of them. This is Red Heart Super Saver in Turquoise, and I love the spiraling the stitches do here. And so what I did was it's a bottom up hat, and I did front post, back post for the brim, and then for the stitch, which was in multiples of 2, I did a single crochet, double crochet in one stitch, then I skipped a stitch, single crochet, double crocheted all the way around, and then instead of joining joining the last and the first stitch together and then chaining up to start another round, I just marked my first stitch, and then in the single crochet, so I would skip the double crochet and I would single crochet, double crochet into the single crochet stitch from below, and I would just do that around and around and around until the height was appropriate for a hat, and then I cinched the top together. So that's the first one. The second one is Yarn Bee Dazzling, and I don't know the name of the colorway. I don't have the band for this, but it's pretty. Kind of reminds me of like unicorn hair. And then for the stitch, or for the brim for this stitch, I just did a half double crochet in the back loop only. So yeah, that's what I did for the hats. And that's really all I did for Warm Up America, and that's all I did for like the first 2 weeks of May. And then afterwards, I didn't want to do blocks anymore. I didn't want to work on hats anymore, because hats aren't my favorite thing. Actually, my favorite things to crochet are the ones that take forever to make. So anyways, the next thing that I made is I got the inspiration from Yarn and Chai, her linen stitch blanket pattern, and it's basically the same thing, only instead of a blanket, I made either a really thick scarf or a really thin shawl. And this was done in the linen stitch. I don't know if you can see that, or if I need to put it on the other side. Hold on. So the shawl starts with the ribbing, and then you work it until, and then you start fading. And this one fades to white. And for her pattern, the white is very small. Like you finish the fade here, and then you do like a couple more rows, and then you start on the next fade of color. But the yarn that I had, I wanted to use all of it up. And so for this one, it ends in this, comes out like super orange, but it's like a coral color. And then it ends with ribbing as well. And I really, really like how the fade works out here. The yarn that I used was Yarn Bee Sweet Minis in the colorway Strawberry Mint. Basically, I had 3, I want to say, balls of them. It's kind of like, the Karen Pantones that came out a while ago, and it was a gradient but each color was in its own separate little ball. That was basically the same thing. I had 3 of them in that same colorway, in the greenish, the coralish, and the white. So I figured I wanted to use all of that up, and I didn't have enough for a blanket, so I just made it into a scarf shawl type thing. So that was the first project that I was able to complete within a couple of days. And it was a little bit of a relief because A, I used up some yarn that I didn't know what else to do with otherwise, and B, I just was finally relieved to have finished a project, even if I had started it from scratch instead of going into my WIP pile. So that is that project. The next project I'm going to show you is a failed attempt at a dress. And so basically I had attempted to crochet the waistband, and then from there crochet up to make a top and crochet down to make a skirt. And I used for the midsection, I found a crochet tape tutorial. That tutorial is by Giani Art, and it looked like butterflies to me, so I figured I would make it. I used a 2mm crochet hook. So I kept frogging the project because my top was coming out too wide, and because it was coming out too wide, and by the 3rd attempt, I figured that I would frog it back to the beginning and I wouldn't worry about it for a while, because I had another crochet dress that I was pretty established on, and if I wanted to work on a dress, I might as well just work on something I know I'm not going to frog anymore. So anyways, I frogged everything back, but I really didn't want to frog the tape back because it was using the last bit of yarn I had on a partial ball of yarn, on a partial ball. So anyways, enough talking. Here it is. Maybe it's... And to me, they kind of look like butterflies. And so this was basically the only part that I didn't rip out. And instead, what I did was I turned it into a hair like a hair ribbon. And I've basically been in love with this ribbon ever since I made it. So yeah, that is that finished object. I do have a couple more balls of yarn, so I have enough to make like a crop top. So I'll probably be looking into what I can do about properly making my top. But anyways, the next project that I'm going to show you is yarn that I had originally, I didn't know what to do with it. I had gotten a pack from Hobium Yarn, and I had bought a pack from Hobium Yarn, and I guess it wasn't really what I was expecting. So I tried to make, I set it all aside and I tried to make a shawl out of it. One for Warm Up America. So let me tell you about the yarn real quick. Gazelle Tango. And the yarn is very, very pretty. And it's only 10% merino, but it was super itchy on me. And if it made me itch upon first, touch, then I knew that it wasn't going to work for me. Especially because I bought it thinking that I was going to make this into a sweater. Anyways, back to shawl making. This yarn catches on itself very badly, and I made the mistake of trying a new pattern out with a yarn that is basically impossible for me to frog. So this is my attempt at the Granny Meets Virus. As you can see, I didn't get very far. I had made a mistake 2 rows back, and I could only frog about half of a row. So this is attempt number 1. I had about 3,000 yards of this, so I was really hoping that I could make the shawl thing work out. Anyways, this is attempt number 2. I had the same issue. I don't know what my deal is, but I skipped a stitch or something, didn't realize it until later. So after the 2 failed attempts and the fact that I was getting really frustrated and I was kind of borderline desperate to try to get rid of this yarn, if you can see me looking this way, it's because I am watching my son play in the water and I want to make sure nothing bad is happening to him. So anyway, so what I did in this act of desperation was I took 5 strands out of the 10 of yarn, took a 6mm crochet hook. So I used a half double crochet stitch and I just did half double crochets until the end. And I basically made a doormat. I found on Amazon that you can buy like non-slip like rug backings for DIY rugs such as this. So I'll probably do that and it will find a spot in my home. So yeah, that is everything that I have crocheted between all this random bits that in between long pauses of not crocheting. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and until next time, talk to you later. Bye.